Her sister Huda wrote to us from Tehran.
She used to say, as we all do and know, that there is a dead, depressing air all over Iran. It's everywhere. It's in people's heart. We are condemned to depression. We are condemned to living without being able to breathe.
The story of Neda's death starts with the June 2009 presidential election. Among Neda's friends, skepticism ran high that they could unseat President Ahmadinejad. But then came the country's first ever televised debates. Over the course of the night, the president was put on the defensive.
He says, "Why do you call me a dictator?" Well, I did not say you are a dictator, but your method definitely leads to dictatorship.
Opposition leader Mir Hossein Mousavi gained massive support, and those who wanted change felt new hope. Among them, Neda's friend Delbar Tavakoli.
I always thought boycotting the election was like saying no. This time I had a different feeling. I was encouraging everybody to vote, either for Karoubi or Mousavi. It didn't matter. Neda wasn't a Mousavi supporter. It was a voice of protest, not in support of a particular candidate, but everyone's voice of protest.
As a new opposition movement surged around Mousavi, this was no longer the election foreign journalists like Scott Peterson had been let in to cover.
Tens of thousands of people on the streets for their candidate and for both candidates. In fact, it was an extraordinary build-up to the election.
But for the reformists, thoughts of victory gave way to new fears.
Just a few days before the vote, there was a rumor that swept the text messaging system, and that was that Ahmadinejad's people had imported 2 million pens with disappearing ink. And of course, the point was that all of these people who would turn out to vote for Mousavi, their votes would be nullified because within an hour or two that mark would disappear, and therefore it wouldn't matter. So just something like that, a rumor which is fed by text messages, meant that almost every single voter that I saw on voting day was carrying their own pen.
Election day, June 12th. Both sides turned out in force, even those who'd stayed away before.
I took my ID card with full enthusiasm and went and voted. By the evening, when I found out one of my friends hadn't voted, I took her to the ballot box myself and made her vote.
But government interference at the polls discouraged opposition voters. Neda's sister told us Neda was among them.
Neda went to a couple of polling stations and was told that neither Mousavi or Karoubi's representative were present. She tried to vote, but wasn't able to.
Opposition supporters said they couldn't trust the officials manning the polling stations. More alarming were the government paramilitaries, called Basijis, who now had been mobilized. Late afternoon of Election Day, the Basiji militia struck, entering Mousavi headquarters. An eyewitness filmed on a camera phone as police tried to remove the Basiji, but they announced they had orders to shut down the office. Then, a few hours later, another